Yeah, so that was the whole point of some of the women in the lineage of Christ, I
Hello?
believe. Yeah, so
Hello?
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 Yes, I'm here.
How you doing? What's your name?
Name is Kananya, Moray Kananya.
I can't pronounce that. Kananya.
Kananya, you said it correctly.
Okay, Kananya. All right, how you doing, Kananya? Are you with a church?
No, I'm not with a church at the moment. I was with the KOY community for almost 20 years in Dimona, Israel.
You said the KOY community?
Kingdom of Yah in Dimona, Israel.
What is it? What is that? Can you explain briefly?
African Hebrew Israelites of Dimona that live in Israel. The Hebrew
Oh,
community that actually lives in Israel.
are you guys Messianic or Torah only?
Neither one of those identifications.
Do you accept the gospel of Jesus Christ?
We don't accept the full gospel of Jesus Christ. We accept uh, the original, the book of the original disciples.
So, like, explain, like, what do you accept in the New Testament? What don't you accept? So I just be clear.
Well, the Pauline doctrine, everything that was attributed to the Messiah after his death.
Okay. So
So
basically,
all of the secondhand accounts.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you accept.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great. All right. So are you a believer in the birth of Messiah?
He was born. Yes, he walked the earth.
All
If
right. So
that's what you're talking about.
right. So you accept the Immaculate Conception. You don't deny it.
No. Well, it was immaculate that the Messiah came to us. We didn't need nothing else. I mean, as far as how he came, that's trivial. It's the fact that he came is immaculate in itself.
So
So
do you acknowledge that he was born of a virgin woman?
yeah, virgin in Hebrew simply means a young woman. All of the daughters of Zion were called virgins. In the book of Isaiah, Isaiah refers to all of the young women as virgins. So the term does not actually mean what we signify today. That term in ancient times just referred to a young woman, an unmarried woman. So it was already assumed that if you were not married, you were a virgin. So it
Okay.
wasn't like nobody was checking. You know what I'm saying? It was assumed that all the daughters of Zion at that time were considered young virgins, being that they were under the covenant.
That's an interesting outlook. So do you believe Mary was without sex when she gave birth to Jesus, the Messiah?
Well, I don't see any reason to believe that she was with sex. I mean,
Okay.
without sex. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Um,
Okay.
there's nothing in the scripture. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to try to give you a reason why she had birth without sex.
Well, before you do that, let me give you the reason
Okay,
why
sure.
that that particular doctrine was even taught. That was not taught originally by the original Christians in Jerusalem. In particular, his brother James the Just, who was the head of the Christian church, was the first head of the Christian church in Jerusalem after his death. The whole Immaculate Conception came out because of the pagans, especially the Greeks, or I mean the Romans, who had a doctrine of Hercules. The only way to appeal to their doctrine and to deify the Messiah if you make him more like Hercules, who was born of a virgin birth. So that whole thing about him not having a actual father was to pacify pagans to accept him as their God. Otherwise, they wouldn't have accepted him because they was firm believers in mystical ideas, and so they had to mysticize the Hebrew Messiah and turn him into a Roman Messiah. So the Roman Messiah, Jesus, comes from immaculate conception. The Hebrew Messiah actually comes from from the line of Jesse, from the root of David. And that lineage of David is outlined in the first chapter of Matthew when it starts with Adam all the way until Joseph. And Joseph's father was named Jacob.
Now,
in the book of Matthew, the first book of the gospel.
Yeah, Matthews don't have Adam.
Okay, maybe not Adam. Okay, let's stand corrected. But
it starts with Abraham.
Okay, it starts with Abraham. Okay, I stand to be corrected on that. But what cannot be, what is correct is that it outlines his lineage from Abraham, and we can infer the other lineage being that Abraham's lineage is outlined through Adam in the Torah. So his lineage is inferred through Adam from Abraham, because even if it starts with Abraham. So it starts with Abraham and it goes to Joseph, who is the father of the Messiah, according to the first chapter of the gospel. Everything else is commentary and up for interpretation.
So are you able to show us in Matthew 1 that Joseph is the father of Jesus?
I mean, it's outlined there. It's his lineage is outlined. That particular part, you can look right now, and we can look at the first chapter of Matthew, and you could read it. And so there's nothing that I need to show you, because it's nothing that's hidden. His lineage is actually written there.
Okay, so do you have your Bible with you?
I don't need it with me.
Right.
You go ahead and read.
All right. So Matthew 1, chapter 1, verse 1 says, the book of the generation of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. So we are reading the generation of Jesus Christ. You agree with that?
Why wouldn't I agree? Because I just said that, right?
Yeah, I'm just, I'm making sure that
I don't want to double down. Yeah, of course.
Sometimes it's good to double down. The Bible talks about double portion. Elijah gave double portion to Elisha.
So yeah, I was just trying to say, I'm not trying to say nothing tricky.
Yeah, no. I'm just sometimes when we get done with calls, a sister would be like, so wait, what do you say? So I'm just being, because there's more than us in the call. I'm just being very clear what you're saying, so nobody can, interpret what you're.
Oh no, it outlines the genealogy. I mean, the genealogy of the lineage of Jesus. And it had to do that in order to confirm him coming from the root of David.
Right. So all I'm trying to do
That's why it does that.
So all I'm trying to do right now is make it simple for everybody, right? So I'm making it very, very simplistic, that even like somebody's 9-year-old, if he's listening or she's listening.
I understand.
Okay. So we are reading the book of the generation of Jesus, correct?
Absolutely.
So when you go to verse 17, it talks about other generations. It says, so all the generations from Abraham to David are 14, and from David to Babylon are 14, and from Babylon to Christ are 14. So not just Jesus' generation we're reading about, we're also reading about 41 others. You agree?
Hello. Yeah, that's what the Bible I'm looking at says. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it's important to point out that there are 42 generations here, not just one. There's 42. And if you go to verse 2, the first one listed, the first generation listed is Abraham begot Isaac. That's one generation. And then Isaac begot Jacob. That's the second, right? So the brother knows, if you just count from Abraham to David, you would count 14. So this would go just like verse 17 says, right? So now, just to be very clear, when it says Abraham begot Isaac, who is the son here?
Who is the, wait.
Yeah, so
what are you asking me?
So when it says Abraham begot Isaac, isn't it stating that Isaac is Abraham's son?
Yes.
and it's stating also in reverse that Abraham is the father of Isaac, right?
Yes, sir. This you sound like a lawyer. We in a court of law. But go ahead, brother.
I mean, this is my teacher.
If you're gonna make it, go ahead, make your point.
Everybody,
you ain't gotta. We ain't gotta be in a court of law because the truth don't have to be fit that way.
Okay, I'll reiterate one more time for you. There's other people on the call, and it might be even kids. I don't know, but some people have kids and they listen.
Okay, so, go ahead, brother.
I'm at work. Okay, anyway, but last thing is this: when it says Abraham begot Isaac, what word there shows you that Abraham is the father? When it says Abraham begot Isaac, what word lets you know Abraham is the father?
You go ahead and tell me, brother. I didn't ask you any questions. You go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk, and then
that's the thing, though. I don't want to tell you things if you disagree. That's why I'd rather extract.
No. You ain't got. It's okay. If you say something, I'll let you know at the end.
Okay. So, do you agree that the word begot established that Abraham is the father of Isaac?
I'm looking at it in the English,
right?
And see, this isn't the Aramaic.
Right.
No. I understand. No. I'm making a comment. Okay, I'm saying that I know that you guys read English, right? But the Abraham of Peshitta, or the Brit HaKadashah, which is the New Testament in the Abrahamic language, is not what we're dealing with, right? And if we're going to do our due diligence and use, in the biblical scholarly realm, they said you have to use the, what, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's when you make sure that you use the original language to put forth certain arguments and positions. So you dealing with the English, I'm just letting you know you can continue, but what you're doing, you're not really confirming anything because we're not looking at the original text, but I'll let you continue.
Okay, you're right. You're right. So all I'm asking is that at least in English, the word begot.
It doesn't even say begot in the one I'm looking at, so that's why I was saying.
What does it say?
Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah. It just says that. That's why I made that comment.
All right. So, brother, do you mind if I read it in Greek for you?
In Greek?
Yeah.
I guess.
All right. So
because I mean Greek, I don't think Greek, unless you believe the original gospel was written in Greek, I'll let you go with it. But I said, it's the Aramaic. It's the Aramaic Peshitta.
If you can show me a document that's older than the Codex Sinaiticus, Greek, then I will accept it as whatever. So you said read it in the original language. I'm gonna do that.
Wait, which document are you talking about?
Okay, the Codex Sinaiticus goes back to the 3rd century. If you can show me a Peshitta,
are you talking about the New Testament? Are you talking about the Torah and the Tanakh?
I'm talking about we're reading the Gospel of Matthew. That's New Testament.
No, I'm saying you said the Codex Sinaiticus. Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's a Greek.
You're saying that don't exist. You're not saying it exists.
Yeah, it exists. I have a copy of it. I have a facsimile.
You said you do have a copy of the Codex Sinaiticus.
No, I don't personally have a copy of it, but there's a facsimile online that anybody can look at. And there's
I already know this. Let me give you my portfolio before we talk. My portfolio is I'm a historiographer of the Middle East. So a lot of when you go into archaeology and actual primaries of documents that verify the Bible and the history of the Bible, that's my specialty. My specialty isn't this conversation, but I can have this conversation with you because I've studied the subject. So when you said the Codex Sinaiticus, I'm like, that's not the New Testament. And if it is, please let me know the New Testament. I'm gonna let you go with that, but
because you just all right. So let me just finish. Because you said don't read in English. So it says Abraham egenesen ton Isaac. Okay. So in your English language, it says father, but in the Greek, that word for father is egenesen. Abraham egenesen ton Isaac Isaac de egenesen ton Jacob, Jacob don ton egenesen, Iodan kai tus edelet fus of two. That means Judas and his brethren. Judas and his son's brethren. Okay, so the word for father is begot, and the word begot in Greek is egenesen. So you're just reading an English translation of begot. That's why the Bible KJV says begot. But father is the same. You could use say father, same thing. The point I was making was that Matthews 1 and 2, it says that it literally says it in your Bible in English that Abraham is the father of Isaac. You read that, right?
Yeah, it says that literally.
Okay. So when you go to verse 16, here's the issue we've been having with each other on the call. When you go to, okay, when you go to verse 16, my screen is wow. It says Jacob begot Joseph. Okay, so in your book, it's going to say Jacob is the father of Joseph. But it does not say anywhere in the generation of Christ that Joseph is, you can't read it in your Bible in Matthew's that Joseph is the father of Jesus.
Okay, so let me expound on that. One, this particular book, that's why I said the Aramaic Peshitta may bring out more context.
Go ahead.
Here, obviously, I mean, we can infer as critical thinkers, right? That why would Matthew, hold on, let me talk.
I'm listening.
We can infer as critical thinkers. Why would Matthew make it important to outline the genealogy of Abraham to Joseph if it's irrelevant? It has to have some relevance if we're critical thinkers. Let me finish.
Okay, you're asking a question that you're not receiving. You don't want to answer.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll answer your question.
Okay, yeah. So there's a couple reasons here that is listed like this. For one, Matthew knows that because of the curse of Jeconiah, that everybody after Jeconiah is suspended from sitting on the throne of David. So this is why Matthew is showing you who is suspended from the throne of David. Everybody from Jeconiah on down.
Why is he going again in simple terms again? I wasn't clear.
Yeah, so let me do this first. So we can all be on one accord. So you can know what I'm talking about. Have you ever heard of the curse of Jeconiah?
Jeconiah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Eokanias. In the Greek is Eokanias. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. Yeah. But have you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the curse was anybody from Jeconiah's lineage could not sit on the throne of David. When you look at Matthew chapter 1, Joseph's name is in the lineage of Jeconiah. He's the seed of Jeconiah. So he would be part of that curse, that exclusion. Okay.
Hold on. Okay. After the exile.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready. I'll finish.
Okay. Hold on. Eliakim. Zerubbabel. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. Cool. So Matthew is reminding us that everybody from Jeconiah on down is excluded from sitting on his throne, including Joseph. Okay.
So he doesn't say this, but you're saying we can make an inference.
Let me finish the answer, brother, and you could chime in. I'm almost done. You asked for an answer,
okay.
and I'm giving back some history. That's why I asked you, have you heard of the curse of Jeconiah? You said
no,
yes.
No. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So Matthew is listing everybody from Abraham and even people after Jeconiah who are excluded from the throne. That's the Most High saying that. Okay. This is why we're reading no connection. So Matthew is pointing out, highlighting there's no connection between Joseph and the Messiah, meaning that the Messiah is not excluded from the throne. That's why he's there.
Okay. So you're saying that Matthew is saying that he's listing the genealogy to show you that he's not his father. Right? I think that's what I interpreted.
Thought you didn't want to double down. I thought you didn't want to double down.
No, I was just asking. I was just saying, you saying no, I didn't understand. I was understanding your thought process, so we continue the conversation. You're saying he listed it, so he's trying to tell you he's not the father. Okay. That's why he wrote that. If that's what I'm interpreting from you.
Got you. So let's trickle down. So in this lineage, or in these 42 generations, it is showing you father and son, father and son. Okay? And it also lists Jeconiah's seeds also here. The excluded seeds with the father. Then when it gets to Joseph, he's the only man that has not begotten anybody. So we're reading the seed stops with Joseph. It doesn't go from Joseph to another boy here, or let alone daughter. It stops with Joseph. Mm-hmm. Jacob begetting Joseph, or your Bible says Joseph, Jacob is the father of Joseph. That's the last father in this lineage, in these generations. Mm-hmm. It says Mary, of whom is born Jesus. So it gives Jesus a parent, a single parent, and a mother. He's the only child that's not begotten by a father here. Mm-hmm. So when you notice the curse of Jeconiah, you would say, oh, okay, that's how Christ escaped the curse. He's not of Jeconiah's seed line. He's not through Joseph. That's how he's worthy to sit the throne.
Okay. Mm-hmm. He was an exilarch.
So that is part B. So okay. That's part B. Part A is there's no begotten son for Joseph here.
No, it definitely doesn't say that.
Right. And it's important because this is where it has to be. This is the generation of Jesus Christ. That's why I had you focus on verse 1. This is and it only lists Mary as a generational parent. So this is why I say the Immaculate Conception is in everybody's Bible. There's not a Bible where this is not there. It's in all of them.
Okay. Say that again.
Everybody's Bible. Peshitta, Greek, King James, Arabic. If you got a New Testament, you're reading this in that language. Okay. In the Spanish Bible, I can show you the Spanish Bible, the same thing.
Okay.
In fact, I'm gonna start reading Matthew's and Spanish Bible for some of y'all.
Okay. Yeah. I accept your interpretation. I accept your interpretation of that particular thought process. But I would accept your interpretation in the fact that it does not say he begot. I mean, I knew that it didn't. It doesn't read that way. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there was something. They wanted to make his birth a little different in the book of Matthew.
And he did.
So I accept that. That's fine. That doesn't. Again, I'm
listening.
It doesn't change my thought process because
I'm not trying to change the thought process. I'm just trying to show you what the Bible says.
I accept your interpretation of how that's written.
That's not my interpretation. Remember what you said earlier. Because when I try to use that with you, you said no, just what the book says. So I didn't. I'm just regurgitating the book. So I asked you questions. That's why I gotta see. It's not my interpretation. See, brother. Now you see why I like to ask you.
No. There is a matter of interpretation because
hold on.
The interpretation is in intent. Interpretation is in intent.
But listen. This is okay. Whether it's interpretation or not, I asked you a question to see if you agree with my interpretation, and you had. That's why it's important for me as a real teacher to ask you a question to see if you were on one accord. If we're on one accord, that means you accept my interpretation. That's true. Because if you felt like it was phony, you'll say, "Nah, that ain't the truth. That ain't it." That's why it's important.
Right.
This is the way true ministering is done. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. You got to extract people. You don't just put in them. You got to extract what's already there and see if it coincides with what you got. And if it doesn't, then you work it out. But we agree with everything in Matthew that
again, but what's again, the only thing that is interpreted, and I accept your interpretation, though it's not clearly stated. That's what I'm saying. So there is some interpreted things. We don't know Matthew's intent.
I mean, everybody see it.
The inference, the logical inference, the logical deduction would be that would probably be more of the alignment, but it's not actually stated. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
What's not actually stated is, let me tell you what's not stated. What's not stated is Joseph begetting a son in Jesus' genealogy. That's important.
Heard it broke, man.
Yeah, he had a slice. Bro had a slicer.
The mill slice broke the wheel?
And I was down there. I was
you can talk.
Yeah, somehow, some way, it's like this. It stayed together, but it picked me up this way. So
Tone.
Print on here. And I didn't even know. So I just fixed it down there, sliced it on, and everything was fine like normal. Only thing is that it had a deadener on it because it wasn't going through there and it was printing out here.
Damn.
So good thing I came back here. I seen it all tiny.
Wait till it gets a little back.
I was like, oh, what the fuck? I looked and it just, I was like, oh, hell.
It's time to go home, man.
I got it all back.
Hey, are we done?
Hello?
Yeah,
I'm still here.
Yeah, Tone wanted to say something to you. Go ahead, Tone.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm at work. I'm talking. Okay. So, hey, I'm sorry, but what's your name? I'm sorry, I'm at work, so I'm about to get out and punch out. So I'll be brief. What's your name, brother?
My name is Kanai.
Kanai. Okay. Nice to meet you, man. My name is Tony. So, since you believe that there was no virgin birth, right? And don't get me wrong, I do think that's reasonable, virgin stuff like that. But that's just my opinion. That's not what the Bible, right?
Yeah.
So
to me, it's not important. I think I made that important. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't make anything more significant. The truth is the truth, and the Spirit of God is the Spirit of God. So I don't understand even, why this is even important. We're not deifying the man because of the way he was born. We acknowledge and give him reverence of what he did and the words that he spoke. So the whole argument doesn't even really make sense, but I entertain it. You know what I'm saying? We'll entertain it.
Right, okay. Cool. Okay, well, entertain me for a minute, because there are about, and you might not consider yourself Christian per se, but there are about 1,000 different Christian sectors on record, okay? And they will disagree. A lot of them probably will disagree with what you just said, because some of them feel the essence of the virgin birth is very important, okay? But with that being said, since you go
why
against,
is it important?
You got 1,000 different sectors. So let's say half of them.
I'm saying, what is the significance for the world and for salvation? Why is that important?
Well, I'll give you my opinion. I'm no scholar.
Yeah.
Right? So in my opinion, why people think it's important is because he's the claim of him being the Son of God, right? The claim of him being this spirit, right? So most people would think, well, that ain't happening from another man, right? And the Bible does lay out. Now you might disagree with it, right? Because I noticed that a lot of times when you all are going over the text, you all leave the text to go to other explanations and other locations and books, right? And that's okay.
I can barely hear you. It's a lot of mumbling. I mean, it's muffled, not mumbling. It's muffled.
I'm on my Bluetooth. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying, or is it hard to understand me?
No, I still don't understand why this is an important topic.
Oh, well, because you all hold a claim that goes against scholarship, right? So it's not like it's in the life. It's not like it's that important. I mean, we just like to have a discussion. We like to talk.
No. I'm talking about the whole discussion and the whole interest. I think even as someone who we all seeking truth and righteousness, why is it so important to make a person born in a mystical way? Why is that important for you to even follow him? If he, that's, to me, I get into the psychology of it, and I'm like, that's not important to me. So it's not really a conversation that's even relevant and gonna bring us salvation, because it's not, like, again, it's not how he was born. It was the word and the mission he was on.
Yeah, I hear you. It's a conversation. Every conversation has got to be based on to salvation, and you don't have to go to that depth. It's just a conversation between.
At this time, my brother, we in a state and condition as a people where our conversations need to be talking about salvation and righteousness. No other conversations need to be had.
So you called to talk about the virgin birth, but we have to talk about.
I didn't call to talk about anything. Somebody asked me to come on it, and I was asked that question. I didn't call to talk about nothing.
Oh, okay,
I didn't know what y'all was talking about. I had no idea.
Okay. We was discussing. Okay, well, check it out there. Check it out there, because we wasn't discussing salvation. We were discussing the virgin birth. So you came into a forum where we were discussing the virgin birth. So let me ask you this: what's your position on the virgin birth then?
I already told her I don't. It's not important, and I don't. Again, I don't believe in it because it ain't even a rational, logical. No, you asked me a question. Can I answer the question?
No, you're not answering. No. Because when I ask you a question, you say something. You don't answer. You say we ain't talking about that. It's about salvation. So I'm okay with that. I just say there's no conversation. I want to talk about the virgin birth. You want to talk about salvation. So we just have an impasse right here, brother. You good, man? Ain't no problem. You're not interested in this conversation. You made it obvious to me twice. I'm not going to press you about it.
No, I said it when I first started talking. That it's not really a.
Well, I'm at work, bro. I'm only catching. Parts.
Oh, you missed it. Oh, yeah, I said that.
Yeah,
I made that.
Okay, so
I accept the brother's interpretation of the book of Matthew in the sense of maybe he was trying to lead us to the conclusion that this man was born without a physical father. Possibly, what he explained was logical. It made sense, and that's an inference that could be drawn. I'm okay with it. It does not. It doesn't. For me, I'm not.
Can you draw the opposite inference in Matthew 1? Can you draw an inference where Joseph?
Oh well, there's no argument. I mean, he just
said draw the opposite inference.
He had no problem.
I don't think. I think. I don't think so. I don't think so. But again,
amen.
Again, Matthew's intent. Maybe he was trying to mythicize him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Again, and again.
Hey, that's an honest answer right there.
As far as my doctrine, where I come from, I don't look at, and I should have made this clear.
Yeah.
The Gospels, again, you see, I already cherry picked what I'm looking at in the New Testament. Anyway, like I'm already cherry picking New Testament because.
Oh yeah, I see.
And I just didn't want to say I was Torah only, right?
Yeah,
because I do acknowledge. Hold on, let me finish. I do acknowledge the historiography of Yeshua, and I do acknowledge the historiography of those books. But let me be very clear: those books are not Tanakh or Torah. They're not sacred in that way. So I can, and when I talk to you about the book, your position, and I should have made this clear. Your thing is we're reading scriptures. Right? In my opinion, we're reading maybe some historical doctrine. Hold on. We're reading some historical information that needs to be interpreted. That Matthew, the disciples are not prophets. They do not, you know how the prophets, when they speak, thus says the Lord, they speak both for God. So their words, their thought process, is much of a higher order than these disciples. And you may not feel that way, but Matthew is not Isaiah. Matthew is not any of the prophets.
You might as well go all the way to her, brother. The Gospels aren't.
Oh, well then, all right. I probably would have told you that. All right, it's cool, but I didn't want to. I don't have to, do that. I can still maintain a conversation with Messianic brothers and understand the value of the Brit Kadashah while still maintaining the thought process that I had. I don't have to go either way. I said neither. Because I'm not going to box myself in to a particular, because to say Torah only, many Torah only communities don't even want to touch it. Get that stuff out of here.
Yeah, they shouldn't, because they're Torah only. That's why I say Torah only.
That's what you say. That's what you say. I don't agree with that. Because truth is truth. Wherever you find truth, you find the spirit of the Most High.
All right, Josh, see you next next Saturday.
Yeah, but you just ignored the truth when we read that. You just ignored the truth where it says Joseph had no begotten children in Matthew 1. You just ignored that like it never happened.
No, you missing it. I don't think Matthew speaks for God. So I don't value his words. In fact, you even got some people who read.
I got you.
Real quick,
all right, brother. Right now you're just rambling. In Matthews.
What did you say, brother? What did you say?
I said, Matthews, is it true that there's no begotten son for Joseph?
No, we going back there?
No, I'm just summing it up.
My coffee.
I mean, there's no need to go back there. We already made that clear.
No, we're not going back. You said something about all truth. So I said, is it true that Matthew does not?
Okay, so truth established again. The prophets.
I'm sorry. I couldn't with the guy. So the guy is lying, right? The guy knew what type of conversation he was coming to. He was not under the impression that this was open discussion. Okay. That was not his impression. He knew that he was coming to talk about the burden book. This is why he went to Matthew. He went there. I didn't go there. He did. Okay. So he knew that this was about what it was. It just, cause you see, he even said, you got to read it in his original language. Y'all all read in English, and he has an English Bible. Like he act like he has something else in front of him. Well, in my Bible, it says Father. Bro, I thought you was gonna read. I thought you was reading from the original language. All right. So, had to boot him. The brother. Let me just do this for the brother. So you see his name Carlos, right?
Hey, Suave, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, are you there?
All right. Yeah, I'm about to hit the road, hit the highway. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Tone. Oh yeah, you about the road?
Yeah, I'm about to hit the road real quick. But I do want to say, if you can hear me, I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, yeah, he's been a dishonest interlocutor.
Yeah.
That's why I was wrapping it up. Once you identify that bullshit, man, it's so many people to debate on to the next. Because, like you say, you're not going to sit here and debate established facts. And he wanted to debate established facts. And then I asked him twice, and he diverted. He did not want to have a conversation. I wasn't going to push him again. It was obvious. We having a conversation. Everything got to be goddamn salvation. Just every conversation got to be, life, death, heaven, hell. We can't just sit down and chop it up. So, man. So,
right.
He's not, he ain't a good one, brother. He ain't a good one, but let me hit the, and I want to say, you had just misunderstood what I was saying earlier. I was making a reference to you said, well, show us how to keep them with the burden of proof. right? And I think when I was explaining how to do them, you took it as me saying that's what y'all are doing. And hell no, y'all don't play them games. And what I was saying about the burden of proof was these guys, soon you say, first of all, ask them what the argument is. Since they going against the scholarship, they have the burden of proof. Okay, what's the premises, right? So premise one, premise two, conclusion. This is why Joseph's the father. So let me hear your argument. But they don't do that. They want to ask you a question, right? And I don't play that. You prove your case. Don't ask me shit. Prove your case, right? You going against the scholarship that's established, right? So when you want to come on and say, okay, I have the positive claim, I have the evidence, and I'm just going to ask you a question. Okay, prove your case. Why do you think Joseph's the father? And when there's contention, that's when I object, right? I say, well, wait a minute. The established fact is that I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what the established fact is. So then you're going to say, well, let me ask you this. No, 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 no. Ask the scholarship. I'm quoting them. Now, if you want to ask me personal, what I think, I'm a preface it with this is my personal opinion. So don't take this and run with it. We're going to get right back to the scholarship because you're trying to shift the burden of proof onto me. And see, that's how I would keep it. And the minute they want to stop being an honest interlocutor and they don't want to answer the questions, they want to divert, do all that bullshit, I can say, hey man, it's nice talking to you, brother, but maybe you don't want to have this conversation.
Tone, that defeats the purpose of a YouTube live. A YouTube live is to be entertaining. Like the goal.
Yeah. I mean, right.
So in that case, I might as well just say, call my phone, brother. Call my phone.
You right.
Or Facebook call them. You dig? So that defeats the whole point of a Facebook live. What we're trying to do is publicly shame him, right? Because the Bible talks about divorcing privately and a public example of public shame. So we're publicly shaming this denial of truth. Now listen, Tone. The guy said that I asked him earlier in the conversation. He said that he accepts the Gospels only. He does not accept what he called the Pauline epistle. He don't accept any of them. He only accepts the Gospels. So I said, okay, brother, if you accept the Gospels, that means you accept the birth of Christ. He said, yeah, of course I do. So I said, well, if you accept the birth of Christ, and you also accept the Immaculate Conception. He said, that's not in there. So then he went on his little rant. So when he got done, then he said Matthew's 1, not me. He said,
well, I remember him saying unbiased. He said he do accept the Immaculate Conception. Then he changed the whole context with the
right.
It was immaculate that Jesus came in the first place. That's not what he's talking about, dude. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt
you. Yeah. So he broke the right. So he was rolling with Jesus in the birth. And then remember, he was the one that told me that I'm reading the English. That's not good enough. He said I got to read in the original language. So I let him finish. That's okay, bro. Here you go. I read it in Greek. That confused the hell out of him. So he didn't know where to go from there. So I said, brother, you're talking about reading original language. You got an English version, bro. You don't have a Aramaic Bible in front of you.
So he's holding you to a standard he himself can't hold. He's holding you to a standard that he himself can't even stand up to.
And that's why I said they all do that, man. Captain, all right, like they all hold you. They all tell you book, chapter, and verse while they're allowed to explain away something that's not book, chapter, and verse.
Okay, you know what? Since you put it about the entertainment, okay, so now it makes sense why you entertain the rabbit holes and all that shit. I thought because you'll get frustrated sometimes, but you and Meech indulge it, and like you say, it defeats the whole purpose of the live stream. So you will indulge it, but just know when you indulge it, when you entertain it, you're actually allowing them to switch the burden of proof, which is okay because, like you say, you entertainment and you continue the conversation, you keep them talking, and you do expose them. I'll give you that. You do expose them, but I want to see one day these guys just be like, you know what? That's a good point.
Bro, they say that. No, they say that. Yeah, I got so many clips. Even he was saying, I see your logic. Yeah, now we got so many clips of people like I think his name was Yah the Warrior. He was one We got there's another guy named Ezariah. He's another young dude. He's another. There's so many that say, yeah, it makes sense. So many say that. So many.
Yeah. Well, on top of the entertainment, it's also educating too, and it's just it also shows and exposes what you really fighting against, man. I mean, you're fighting against an indoctrination, man. And that them roots run deep, brother. Real deep. Uprooting that tree, man. I don't know, bro. But I do say it's entertaining. I give you that. It's
Now we no
entertaining.
if you follow our videos and not listen to it for entertainment, you'll see that a lot of people are learning. Like even the ones that hang up, they're learning because what you don't know behind closed doors. I speak to these guys in inboxes, and they be dying to come back on, but it just ain't like for what, you know.
Right. Right.
Like,
Exactly.
like the guy today, the guy kicked off today. Earlier, not him, the earlier guy. He wanted to come back on. The guy who was like just arguing everything. He wanted to come back on. It's like, nah. It's just
You know what can also be maybe a more productive, maybe more productive, and also entertaining is when these fellas come on, you invite them on, maybe set some groundwork because a lot of times you always gotta just jump into it, and you kind of feel each other out during that time, and then that's when a lot of these, y'all talk to pass each other and all that shit starts to happen. But what you believe, brother, and why you believe it, why you believe that he's born of a virgin or he's not born of a virgin, right? And maybe have them set up in an argument, premises, conclusions. Now we have something that we can grab a hold of. He set some premises out, and he a conclusion. Now we can box ourselves into that, and we don't have to go all over the place. But once again, I'm always on that, try to get to the point. But like you say, it's a live stream. I gotta get my mind geared in that way, because ultimately that's it's a live stream. You want to have some conversation. You don't want to end it in 10 minutes because this dude don't want to act right. So you want to try to work with the person, fill them out, and have a good build. So I get it. But if you could set some premises, right? Argument forms, ask them what they understand about the foundation of logic, identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle.
bro.
These are important.
Dude,
These are important concepts.
how the hell I'm gonna talk about that and they don't understand what a direct object is, bro? Stop it.
I know, bro. I know, but it makes it. And maybe you don't know how to approach them if they don't understand basic foundations of logic, right?
Brother, maybe you don't understand that if you don't understand third grade stuff, there's no way you can understand high school or adult stuff. You got to first know that. That's why they have grade levels for a reason. You got to accomplish this grade to prove that you're able to take on something a little more challenging or the next level up. That's what school is for. You got to prove yourself. They don't just give you division if you're showing poor work on addition or multiplication, subtraction. So you don't just get division. They're going to keep you at where you're struggling at because they know that the next level is
right. And I mean, you don't have time to break it all down to them at that moment to have this conversation.
But what I'm saying to you,
you kind of have to know it already.
There should be nothing to be broken down. If you understand, if Tony threw the ball to Jim, you have to understand that Tony threw the ball to Jim. Like so, there's a subject there, there's a verb there, there's a direct object, and there's an indirect object. Like that's simple. If I got to explain that, I can remind you. Oh yeah, okay, brother, you're right. But if I explain it and it still doesn't register, bro, that means that you don't have the accurate education. When you believe you can just read half of a sentence, a part of a sentence, and you could disregard the rest of the context and run somewhere else and do the same thing over and over through a book, if you think that's the proper way of understanding something, you don't have a formal education. That's impossible. Like the reading comprehension teach you how to read properly. And you get that in third, fourth grade. You get that skill third, fourth grade.
Yeah, I mean, right. Those concepts are like, college, collegiate level, logic, reasoning 101. But like you say, they can't even get past third grade sentence structure, right? I'm sitting here listening to me. I'm like, whoa, is he really breaking down verbs and adverbs and adjectives and subject, verb, agreements and prepositions and prepositional break? I mean, really, you all have to break this down for these cats? They're reading a Bible that's already hard to read, and they don't even understand basic sentence structure.
Brother, that's what we're trying to swim through. Okay, we're trying to swim through that. That's like trying to swim through glaciers of ice to save a puppy. So we're trying to save
right.
the puppy, but we got to swim through freezing cold water and glaciers of ice blocking us on top of that. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. We got to swim through their ignorance, their lack of education to get through to them. And sometimes
then when you finally reach them, when you swim through them, when you went through hell, through glaciers and ice, cold water, and then you got to get to a fighting dude. They gonna fight you to the death, not to be saved. They got to deal with that too.
But you know what? See, but in life, like sometimes, like even I do it. Sometimes, let's say if I'm working, right, or like best example is I'm playing chess and I just won. But the person watching me could say, "Hey, you could have won this three moves ago." My natural instinct is to argue because you just showed me that I was lacking something, some information. So, or I might not say nothing, but I'm gonna feel it. You ain't gonna feel good because you won and you're feeling good, but you just learned that you could have made this easier 3 moves ago. So, but what happens is that unlike them, when the emotions go away, I think about it. I say, you know what, you're right. If I had done A, B, and C, the game had been over. Yeah, so I did it 3 moves later, which was unnecessary. I said, you know, you're right. Just like a formula,
okay.
like you could go to a long route about something, or a shorter route. Go ahead.
Yeah, but what you just explained was a secondhand thought, right? And your first reaction was to be combative, right? And me myself presented that like you say, you just won the game, you feeling good. My man say, hey T, you could have won that in three less moves. 3 moves ago, you could have won it. I saw it. And I would be like, no shit. So, I kind of set the board back up to the position he was talking about. And he can say, okay, when he did this, you did that, right? That would be my first reaction would be, if you did something and you saw something that I missed, show me, let me know, because I don't want to miss it again, right?
No, look, you miss what I'm saying. I'm not like that in all things. Like chess, chess is a competitive game. So this isn't like research. Like I'm competing. So yeah, I'm very competitive. So if I'm playing basketball, I'm a great bowler. So if I'm bowling and I'm winning and I'm pumping my chest, and somebody say, "Hey man, your technique is off." Yeah, that's not because remember you just won and you're like kind of like you're gloating in your glory.
Okay.
And when somebody say, "Hey man, there's a flaw in your
And that's
glory,"
the heat of battle.
right, you be like weird. Right.
Right.
So we're having heated battles here. Like this is different than in a gym working out where I'd be like, yo, Tone, man, listen, your elbowing, like you accept that because you're working out, you're not competing. but when you're competing and somebody correct you, in the heat of battle, you kind of take it the wrong way, which because you're in the battlefield. Right, you're on the battlefield. Yeah.
Don't mess with a man. Don't mess with a man eating the back. Don't mess up his celebration.
Exactly. So what you got to do is
celebrate.
Yep. So what you got to do is you got to tread water. So that's why a lot of these guys, you don't see me arrogantly just start. I always start off smooth and try to be cordial, and then some of them I just match their energy. So when they start being aggressive, like him and the other guy, when they start being aggressive, I start being aggressive. But if they're cool and calm, I'm cool and calm. So that's it. But I always try to tread water when I talk to these guys. I know that I want them to finish the entire conversation. I want them to hear all the points that I had. And I want to, Tone, see what you're missing is this. You have to answer their questions because they're told the answers and the answers are wrong. And that's why they believe in what they believe in. They were told that Joseph is the father. That's a wrong answer. So what I want to do is I want to answer that for them and say, no, he's not the father. Okay. And when they say, Jesus Christ fulfilled this, that. I want to answer that for them. So what you got to consider is that they have a bunch of incorrect answers in their head, and this is why they're in these organizations, these camps, this one Western thought. So you have to replace bad answers with good answers. You know, if you're planting something in the ground and you got good seeds and bad seeds, or if you bought a batch of bad seeds, you got to replace them with good seeds. You got to say, okay, you don't grow them together. So you know what? Let me go dig these. Let me uproot this bad stuff. Let me plant the good stuff.
Right. Well, look at it like this. Let's look at ultimately what they're doing. And just when it comes to this topic, maybe other topics, I know virgin birth topic. This is a miracle as described in the text, right? And they disagree with the miracle, right? They're not necessarily disagreeing that the text ain't saying or inferring this. This is why they go to other texts, because they want to dispute that, right? So that they halfway disagree. Text is saying that, yeah, it's obvious that 41 begots, 42nd one is not a begot, right? I mean, the writer obviously was sending a message, right? I mean, right. So that's why they want to go to all these other texts, right? But here's my thing with that. Because then they want to start talking about how the virgin project, the gestation period, the virgin process, and all this stuff here. So now they want to go to the science, the science of childbirth, the science of, probably populating, right? But you go into the science to disprove the miracle birth, right? So if you're going to go to the science to disprove the miracle birth, that's an epistemology. That's a methodology, right? You're going outside the Bible, which we always want you to do. I want you to go outside the Bible to prove the Bible. But usually you claim the Bible and go back to the Bible to prove it. But on this one, you will leave the Bible to go to science to prove, but you're doing it to prove the Bible wrong, to prove the miracle wrong.
Yeah.
So let's keep that same energy with the rest of the miracles. Your epistemology, your methodology has to be consistent. You cannot play that game. Well, at least not with me. You ain't gonna be able to use science to disprove this miracle and just hold it there. No. We got a lot of miracles to go through, brother. Get your science book out. We're gonna be a while.
Yeah.
And that right there, it won't even change a mind. It won't change their position. You just nailed them to the wall with cherry picking, you know what I'm saying, and dishonesty. When your methodology, let's just be frank, whenever you disagree, your methodology comes in. So as long as everything is going how you say it go, you never leave the Bible to go prove something. But let's talk about the virgin birth. Oh, let's go to the blue letter. Let's talk about the virgin birth. Oh, let's go to the science. Babies ain't born that way. Well, how about the miracle of
that's a great point. That all of a sudden, no, how are kids born? Male and female, right? So they go to science. They root you down in science. But if they're talking to Unc the God Killer, and then they go to try to explain this splitting the Red Sea, and when he used that same science to say it's impossible, now what? And how about when they cast manna down from heaven to feed Israel in the wilderness? Now they're talking to Unc the God Killer, right? So when he used science to show that's impossible, now what?
Right. I mean, now this is when you have to be honest with yourself or dishonest with yourself. But it's also a thing about being convinced. A lot of times, these guys, they don't even understand basic science principles, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about the theory like it's just and theory is the pinnacle of everything. So now you're discussing something with a person who don't even have, the basic knowledge. Like you just explained it. How you gonna talk about foundations of logic and they don't even understand third grade grammar? So at some point, unbiased, it goes from you trying to have a honest discussion, trying to actually get some information in. And at some point, it has to be like when you say, you know what? This is another one. Let's go ahead. Now it's entertainment now. Now we're going to shift to entertainment. Now I'm just going to troll them I'm just because I be catching you doing that shit.
Yeah.
You
So
just yeah, just
but Tone, like, so that's why Vocab Malone asked a good question yesterday. Like, why do I do this? And I gave the answer why I do it. So it's not only just to kick their butt, but I'm sincerely trying to wake them up. Okay, so that's why I took my time to research all of their points that they agree that is true, and I show that they're all twisted. So I show them that, hey, everything you believe in on this virgin birth thing, almost all of it is a that's not the correct interpretation of all the passages you use. It's actually the opposite. So that's why I point out to them when they try to show Joseph is the father of Jesus, and they show who's saying it. I point out, brother, you are referencing your witness are people trying to kill Jesus. Like, that's ironic because you're saying he's your Messiah, and you're saying he was born of men, but your only reference are his future murderers. That's your reference. But there's so
right.
many great people in the Bible that backed him, and you don't want to reference them. You know why? Because they don't say that. They say he's the son of God. He's the Messiah. So like the good people say he's the son of God, the Messiah, the living God. The bad people say he's the son of David. I mean, I'm sorry, say he's the son of Joseph. So I'm like, dude, look at what you're doing. You're literally the Antichrist. Like, you're referencing Antichrist people. That's weird. Like, look
Yeah.
at what you're doing. Go to sleep on. That's why some of them would stay longer and talk to me and Meech and get extract, try to pick our brain on other things. And the conversation earlier, the guy went all the way to Gentiles. He was trying to go with that doctrine that the Gentiles are Northern Israelites. Okay, so that's another twisted doctrine that I got to try to correct them. And that one is, that's a whole different ball game with that one. But that's also
So
easy to prove.
right. So you got you got a few things that you can address, like the fact that they're trying to use science to disprove the biblical narrative of the miracle birth as inconsistent, right? When they claim Joseph laid down with Mary, well, that's not in the scripture. You had to add that, right? They like to use the word infer, but you actually added that, right? And you're not going to add to the scriptures, right? So they can't even show you where Joseph actually slept with Mary. They have to put that in and infer it, but that's okay, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's okay. I mean, but you go ahead and try it, unbiased. Try to infer some shit.
Brother, that's yeah. I don't even know. I mean, at some point, if I'm going on 200 debates with these guys, at some point, I'm an expert with these guys. At some point, I'm considered an expert on Hebrew thought when it comes to virgin birth. If a doctor operated on one person, he's considered inexperienced. But if he operated on 200 people for the same procedure, he's considered an expert in the field. He has experience. If I debated going on 200 people in 1 year, at some point I got to be seen as an expert in that field. That means I came across all different thoughts. I came across different ways to talk to these guys. I try to be passive, it didn't work. I try to be aggressive, it didn't work. I try to be medium, it didn't work. I try logic, try science, because we do talk about sperm and seed, and we talk about biology. Like, dude, you can't have a baby with just sperm.
But like this, it might not be formal, but they do have honorary doctorates. And that's where I would place you at, bro, when it comes to this virgin birth shit. And like you are definitely like, you ain't no school where they teach. I think they have what they call those schools where they go teach you how to be ministers. You didn't go to any of the schools or any formal education, but you've done so much in the field that an honorary doctorate would definitely be appropriate, and you will be labeled an expert in the field. And I'll tell you something else too. Next thing you should be looking at is eschatology, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's a real good topic right there. That's foundation.
Yeah, that's something I don't want to talk about. Many other people have also mentioned that, I said I'm good. I'm good with that. If you think the virgin birth is about a lot of confusion, no, I'm definitely not going there. Hell no. Hell no. I'm good with that.
All right, brother. But look, my phone about to
That's
die.
something me to be interested in, but I'm good because the virgin birth,
Yeah.
if they can't get that, because these guys, they believe salvation first of all only for Israel, and that's blacks, Hispanics, and you know, those people. They, but no,
Oh man. Yeah. Still there, bro?
yeah. Now I'm just saying, when you talk about salvation with these guys, like they automatically is going to say that's the nation of Israel only, and that, then you got
Yeah.
you got a whole yeah. So you won't even get far because once you start talking about salvation, they're going to say, okay, well, show me who outside of Israel. And then when you go ahead and show them outside of Israel, and when you focus on Gentiles and Greeks, they're going to tell you that those are Israelites, as the first brother today did. He said, and then Ariela, the transgender guy, he said everywhere where it says Gentiles in the New Testament, he said they are not Gentiles; they're actually Israelites. He said everywhere. So how am there's nothing to work with over there. So that's why
Right.
Jesus said, I tell you,
Okay, I just
yeah, that's why Jesus said,
it's just one big investment about.
yeah, that's why Jesus said, at some point, um, he come perform a miracle because of disbelief. So when you outright saying all Gentiles are lost Israelites, I can't do that with you, bro. It's over. Like you're not even honest.
Well, virgin birth it is, man. Keep it strong. I jump on from time to time. I like it. It's kind of fun too, you know. And then when you get a good interlocutor, man, it really makes it work. When you feel, you know, that sense of all right, we kind of got through. We kind of see that, you know. It don't happen often, but every once in a while you do get the guy. Hey, brother, my phone about to die on the highway. So I'll jump off here.
All right, man.
Good talking to you once again, my man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I got another one for you later on tonight. I got one for you.
Okay, shit, I'll be up. Shit, I'll jump on, have some fun.
All right, okay. So yeah, so once you see, so like you already know, once you see their name in the title, you know it's an Israelite. If you don't see their name,
right.
it's not an Israelite lie.
Right, it's always some big Israel, or it's always something
exactly.
like that.
All right, man.